Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be here. I am your DM. I am Cryo. You know everybody here. This is going to be a short session for various reasons. And so let's just get right into it. When last we left off... What? Don't you wiggle your finger. Don't you wiggle your finger back there. When last we left off, the Fogslip had come under assault from multiple sea serpents, and the party did a fantastic job attempting to defend the ship until a few things slipped up. A werewolf may or may not have
nobody died
on the deck of a ship. Nobody died. You definitely did get knocked out pretty heftily, but it's okay. Nobody died as far as everybody is currently aware. Everybody was getting ready to leave as the ship was sinking. Archibald, your friendly wood elf with a mysterious background, asked if anybody knew Misty Step, and upon Kieran confirming he did, but was out of spell slots, Archibald grabbed him by the head and you were all washed in a bright white light. Now, Kieran, you made a couple of rolls before we started, and they determined a few things, so we are actually going to start off alone with Kieran. Kieran, as the light fades, you find yourself in a strange, ethereal realm. You are only slightly groggy. You are a little confused. And as you look around, you see that you are on something that seems akin to a branch of a giant tree. Everything around you is very dark. It's all this deep blues. It's almost like you're in the middle of a storm at night. But there's no wind, and there's no noise.
Hey.
The moment you talk, your voice echoes every single direction. Almost like 1,000 voices are answering back to you.
Oh dear, this isn't... I want to look around. Do I see Archibald? Do I see anybody?
Make a perception roll.
Perception, what's my perception? +2. 12.
12? Okay. You can't see anyone around you in your immediate vicinity, but as you are looking around, you see silhouetted in the strange ethereal clouds a giant humanoid shape, and two glowing eyes looking down at you through the smoke.
Mufasa? Shit, that doesn't look right. I have no... do I have any idea, like any guesses of where I could be? Like Arcana or something?
Yeah, make an Arcana roll.
Make an Arcana? No, I don't.
Roll
that's an 11.
That's an 11. That's an 11. All you know is that you are not where you last were, and you are probably not anywhere on the planet.
I'm gonna try and summon Siren.
Okay, you try to summon Siren, nothing happens. You get the sense as you try to summon Siren that you are wholly and entirely alone. There is nothing else here except the two giant eyes staring down at you. And as... Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna shout, "Hey!"
There's no response.
You from around here? I'm not.
As Kieran is struggling there, we're gonna go to where the rest of the party is at. So, as you all come back from the bright flash of light, you suddenly find yourselves in the air. And you immediately begin falling directly towards whatever is below you.
Can I use my reaction to start flying?
Yes, you can. Yes.
I would like to also do that.
Lotus and Dolus immediately spread their wings and catch themselves in midair, slowing down to a nice, gentle glide. Socks and Twink, what are you doing?
Well, Twink's gonna see that happening. Must be nice!
Can I try and grab Twink?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's make a dexterity roll on that one.
Okay. All right. That is a 7.
Oh, you miss while you are trying to grab Twink. You, in just the shock of the moment, suddenly falling, you cannot manage to nab him.
When I look down, is Archibald also around?
When you look down, you see every crew member and passenger on the ship you remembered seeing all plummeting down towards ocean water underneath. It looks to be about 150 feet.
Can I look around to see if there's any masses of land?
Not far away, actually, you see a lot of crags of rocks surrounded by various ships.
What is a crag of rock?
It is like a big plinth pillar of rock.
Okay.
Death spikes.
Is that
Fun.
a Dolus question or a K question?
That is a K question.
So Socks, as he falls, grabs onto his bag to make sure that he doesn't lose that or shoes.
Okay.
And watches as, I assume Twink and Socks are actually pretty close to each other.
Yeah, no, you're relatively close to each other.
Said
So
it was 150 feet.
About 150 feet.
He looks to Twink and goes, I didn't think I'd have to go out this way.
How? I don't remember. How fast is falling again? It's like instant, right?
Falling is
It's-
quick. You are all about to hit the water, so unless you have any immediate reactions you want to do.
Nope. I'll be hitting the water.
Can I attempt to grab Twink? Right after Dolus misses.
Right
I
after
just-
Dolus misses. Alright, I'll let you do a dexterity.
Well,
Straight check?
okay, so she's checking. She's getting them. She's a monk.
Is it just a straight check?
Just a straight check.
A 15.
Okay, and now make a strength saving throw for if you don't plummet into the water with him.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. So you catch him, you slow him down a little, but just with the speed he's going, you can't pull up from the dive in time, and you both hit the water. I want you to both roll 2d6s for bludgeoning damage.
2d6.
Test.
8.
Dox, I want you... Do you have anything you're doing? Roll 3d6 for bludgeoning damage.
You didn't even give me a chance to answer.
You shook your head. Like, I don't know what you
No,
want.
that was just me, going like, ah, fuck.
All right, no, like, if
Do
you
you?
got something... You do
I
it
just
now.
want to I'm just trying to pencil dive that shit. Put my feet to the water.
That's the
You
line.
break your fucking feet.
Make a dex saving throw.
Bet.
Getting lots of rolls here right in the beginning.
That is 16.
That is 16. Okay, roll 2d6s. You
Thanks.
managed to really nimbly point your feet downward so you enter the water.
6. Great. Ow.
Dolus, you watch as the entire crew of the ship goes splashing really deftly into the water, or not deftly into the water.
Wait, so it's like everybody who was on the boat?
Everybody who was on the boat, you recognize some glancing faces.
Harmon,
a lot of them
no.
are just ships and stuff.
Yeah, do I see Harmon?
You see, make a perception check.
Okay. That's with disadvantage. Oh well, I'm not seeing Harmon. I'll tell you right now, I don't see Harmon.
You can't make out any faces other than the ones that splashed like directly beneath you, like the party who you knew was right next to you as you were falling.
Can
Yeah,
I pop
you're-
my head out of the water and say, Dolus, I messed up!
I saw that.
Dolus, help!
I can't.
Come grab me.
I'm not grabbing you. I can't pull you out of the water.
Pick me up.
Pick
Up!
me up.
Up!
I'll up later.
Mama bird me!
You all splash. You all
That's not what that
generally
means. That's not
out of
what
the
mama
water.
birding is, Ray. That is not what mama birding is, Ray.
You're all now treading water.
Great.
Well, Do we see Archibald?
Do you see? Make a perception check. You're bobbing in the ocean.
Socks is doing his best to hold his messenger bag
I'll give you
above
advantage
water.
on that too, since I know Lotus and Dolus were also interested in where Archibald may have been. You're all
right, that's a 21 total.
21 total. You notice that Archibald is there. He is currently floating face down in the water, about 12 feet left of Twink.
Twink's gonna look over and just sigh. He's gonna swim over to him and kind of flip him to where he's belly up, so he at least doesn't drown.
He's belly up. He's out. You don't know if he's dead or unconscious, but there's no response from him as you flip him face up.
Got it. Can I make a medicine check to find out?
You can.
Socks is floating on his back to try and hold the messenger bag above the water.
That's another 21.
Another 21. There is a pulse, but he is not breathing.
Oh, he's not breathing.
Great.
Fortunate.
Unfortunate.
I'm gonna stabilize him, I guess.
This whole
Okay.
time, Lotus is just staring up at Dolus. Is like, up! Let me up!
Dolus has stopped paying attention to Lotus.
Grab your hands.
That-
At Dolus, you would notice from those crags you saw a couple hundred feet away, you start seeing rowboats coming out in all of your direction. There's 3 of them rowing out towards you.
I would like to fly towards the rowboats.
Okay.
And I'll just yell down, I'm gonna go look at that.
I'm gonna go look at
Come back!
the rowboats kind of... Oh, you say that's a Lotus?
Yeah.
Socks just holds up a defeated thumbs up.
Archibald is stabilized. You give him a solid whomp on the chest, and he just well, he doesn't wake up. He just starts like gasping for air, floating on the water. As Dolus is flying over to the rowboats, amidst the rest of the party, all of a sudden, directly in the center of you, the red coat of Harmon floats up, Harmonless. And then immediately behind Socks, Harmon appears, just going, ah!
Socks just full on like spins. For a second, he almost drowns himself.
Socks like waterboards himself.
Harmon is desperately trying to fire his revolver, which is now waterlogged and doing nothing.
It didn't do much before either.
As he finally calms down, he just goes, I thought I was flying.
Well, you were. For a moment. And then you weren't.
That's called falling.
That depends on your definition of flying.
Dolus, you arrive at the rowboats and you see there's a solid like 3 sailors in every single one rowing really quickly out to everybody they saw fall in the water. You're muted.
So are they like, do they see me like in the sky? Like,
Yeah, they look up at you.
yeah. I would like to descend near the closest rowboat.
Okay.
And and ask the person there who's rowing it, or I don't know. There's 1 sailor in each of them.
There's 3 in each one. They're big long rowboats.
Okay. And so I'll just come up and like, have you come to help us?
The sailor at the front of the one that you flew up to is like, I know, we're here to rip your corpses clean. Yeah, we're here to help you. Although I've never seen quite so many people take a dive from that height. Where'd you come from?
We were just on a lifeboat, and I don't really know how we got here, but we need as much help as we can get.
And the sailor like nods and he's like, don't worry, we'll get you covered.
Thank you. And then I'll start flying back over to the party.
The rowboats are starting to get really close to you all now. Like most of the other people in the water are sort of like paddling towards them to get on them. It's at about this point that I feel like Twink. Let me look at your passives here. Yep. Twink, you realize that Kieran is not with you. You look around and you see everyone from the immediate party and a few of the people who you saw on deck, but he's just not there.
He, in the water, he's gonna turn and he's gonna look at Lotus and then gonna look at Socks and he's gonna go. And he's gonna look at Archibald, who's still unconscious, and he's gonna go. And then he's just not gonna say anything.
Okay, the rowboats get to you all, and everyone's helping you into the boat.
I'd like to get on the boat that is closest to where the party is, and I finally grab Lotus's arms and pull her up onto the boat.
Okay, you get on like the rightmost boat, and you pull them up onto the.
The moment her feet hit the boat, she shakes herself to get rid of the seawater.
Everybody else is now doused in more seawater as you are getting pulled out.
Ironically enough, as Socks gets on the boat, he also shakes himself like a dog, just dousing the other side of the boat.
Lotus, you are wet again. You are wet. You immediately get wet from him shaking.
She's shaking back.
This is just a shake fight, I see. Can Twink be on a different boat?
No.
Twink's gonna jump in the water and swim to another boat.
The sailor finally goes, stop. As Twink paddles over to the other boat and pulls himself up. He goes, you'll just air dry. Air dry.
Anyone else smell wet dog? And we lost him.
He's dead.
No, Kieran. Oh no.
He's gone. He's not there.
Yeah.
I still need it to make sure the cameras line up.
So
when the dude on the boat says that, she's gonna shake her the feathers on her wings just a little bit to spite him.
Socks is gonna lean his arm like over the edge of the boat and just kind of.
All right. He just kind of gives you both a dirty look as he helps one of the other people into the boat. Twink, you are the same boat as Walk, who his large form is taking up.
I've never had interaction with Walk,
so you just see a big orc hugging like a case and sitting in the back of this long boat.
He kind of sits there and he's just kind of looking at the case. What you got in there?
Spoons.
How many?
About 14.
Any of them magical?
No.
Then he just kind of twirls around and faces the other direction now.
All right. Archibald is in the boat with Dolus, Lotus, and Socks.
Still
unconscious. He's just
Lotus is
clunked out
gonna.
the boat.
Is he like laying on the boat?
They put him between two of the seats, so he's where your feet would normally go if you were sitting on the benches.
She's gonna
He's kind of just
lean over and start poking his face.
it doesn't do anything. You're just poking his face.
Squish.
You aren't just squishing his face.
Sock starts mending his clothes
crouch
from
down.
his previous transformation.
You could do that. So they all start rowing you back towards the crags and ships that you see.
While we're doing that, Dolus crouches down to Lotus and just grabs her arms and just stops her from touching this unconscious man.
Can Twink take his time on this row to try to make an Arcana check and figure out what the just happened?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Dolus, you just made me almost poke his eye.
No, I didn't. You almost.
That was a natural 20, by the way, for a 26 total.
Ooh. In all of your time with the guild and in the capital, you have never really experienced this kind of thing. You've heard of teleportation spells that can take you really far away, but they always require rituals or portals, or they're one person only, so you've never encountered a mass teleportation of people like this. But you immediately are aware by the whole situation that you are not where you started out, and you probably ended up here. before you ask Socks, you would also come to the same conclusion.
No, can I fix my book? Because I just realized it's water versus paper. Can mending fix that?
I will let mending fix that.
Sweet.
You have to let it air dry first, and then fix the damage to it, though. But you can't get rid of the water.
And then from that check, would I also come to the conclusion that Kieran would probably appear in the same area?
You would assume Kieran would be here as well, but he is not.
Yeah, which leads Twink to assume it's going to happen at a later time.
And as you come to that conclusion, Kieran, we're going back to you in your strange, ethereal otherworld.
Saren, I wish you were. And I look off. I pull out my quarterstaff. Can I cast Shillelagh on my quarterstaff?
You're gonna cast Shillelagh?
I'd like to see if I can
that spell.
See if I can use my magic, take out my staff, and I just want to cast Shillelagh on my staff and try and like walk towards the. Wait, am I on a long log that's floating in something?
It doesn't seem to be floating. It seems to be. You seem to be on some kind of branch.
I'm on a branch. I want to look around. Mm-hmm. What is the branch in? And can I see what it's connected to, if it's connected to anything?
So you can't see through all of the clouds to see what it's connected to. I'll go off your earlier perception check.
Yeah.
But you do see that it is, while it looks like a branch, it looks like the branch of a gigantic tree, it is stone.
Well,
bro, is this Xenoblade 2?
This is Xenoblade. Welcome to the world tree.
This is a lot less icy than the last wasteland. And can I cast magic? Like, is my magic working?
Are you casting? Do you want to commit to casting Shillelagh?
I want to cast Shillelagh.
Cast Shillelagh, and the moment you cast it, you not only feel this immense calm, you feel this tremendous power, and you feel like your magic is way stronger here than it has any right to be.
But
the moment you cast the magic, the two eyes that were occasionally glancing at you immediately shoot down really quickly to be right in front of you, and you make out this, other than the eyes, completely featureless face of this massive humanoid creature. It's got ears somewhat similar to an elf, and these big swept back black horns. And it just looks right at your staff as it hums from the magic of Shillelagh.
Hello?
It does, it responds to you.
A threat. In fact, if you want me to leave, we have the same goal.
The moment you mention leaving, the eyes squint really tight, and a hand comes up and closes around you.
Oh, me? Like...
You? Boom.
like Dolus and a cat.
Yes, like it palms you, but this hand is so big, you are this.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
It's just boom.
So it's Master Hand.
And you immediately wake up. Not even wake up, not even like shoot awake.
Oh.
You are standing exactly as you were on that branch, in the middle of just a room with people who all immediately like jerk back and stare at you.
Look around the room. People I recognize. What's the description of the room? Am I restrained in any way?
Do a quick perception check, actually.
Okay. 13 plus 15.
These people seem just as surprised that you are there as you are surprised to be there. They all, again, have the air of sailors that you've become sort of used to over the last day. You don't recognize any of them personally.
Mm-hmm. Not even in glancing, just like...
No, they're just all strangers staring at you. And then as you get your bearings about you, two of them pull guns on you.
Whoa.
Another pulls a saber.
Whoa. This isn't a warm welcome. Where am I?
The one with the saber goes, "You're really asking that after you just teleported right into the middle of the war room?"
I had nothing to do with that. I think I sunk, and then I showed up here. What's the war room? What war?
They stare at you for a second, and then one of the ones with guns puts it away, walks up to you, and decks you in the face.
Jesus.
What? You are going to take... I should really remember to keep my dice out at this.
Is that how you treat everybody who shows up?
You're going to take 3 points of damage.
Okay.
And then they quickly put you in handcuffs.
Oh, whoa.
And now let's... actually, before we continue, we're back to the rowboats. Where you are all quickly approaching the ships and rocks.
So, would Dolus be able to realize at this point that we're missing a member?
Would Dolus think actively of Kieran, is the question.
Actively of Kieran?
Like, what do you think he recognizes around?
This is the whole reason I didn't tell anybody, because I was like, none of these people care that Kieran's not here.
Killed that man.
I would argue Socks cares, but not because he doesn't want him there.
Socks would notice. Passive perception and him interacting with Kieran most, Socks by now has noticed.
So Socks, like, opening his messenger bag, like, pulling out Shoes, who is probably just a wet rat.
Shoes' matted hair, shaking little thing, and just the moment you pull her out, she's just like... like, just tiniest, saddest little noises.
I'm so sorry for that. And then he kind of looks around. Where's the weird one?
Weird one?
The... Kieran. The... whatever the hell he is.
What's a Kieran?
Who's Kieran?
The moment that you realize
the
Kieran
one with
hasn't
the crow.
introduced himself to the birds.
The one with the weird bird thing.
Oh, the angel.
Yeah,
the Yazima.
He had wings, Dolus.
Huh?
He had wings. Did you see?
Yeah, I did. It was
really
quite
cool.
hard to miss.
Socks looks around, kind of like tries to check the other boats and goes, well, they can't all make it. And just like goes to like trying to dry the things out in his bag.
Well, do you think he did something? And he points to Archibald.
And Socks, in the middle of his action, kind of looks over and is just like, more than likely, considering, you know, he grabbed Kieran's head. For all I know, he killed him on the spot.
Dolus is just like glaring down at Archibald's unconscious body.
If I had to guess, he's probably some form of copycat, you know, stealing abilities for the time being, and never heard of magic like that, so don't exactly know the side effects. For all we know, there could just be a cloud of Azamar wherever we left.
Dolus would like to walk over to one of the people who is rowing the boat and ask, so, excuse me, where are we?
The person rowing the boat, a female sailor, she just sort of looks up at you and she's like, well, right now, we're just sort of in the ocean. But you definitely managed to land a good 300 yards off of Enshasla.
Oh, that's where we were going. I think that's where we were trying to end up when this happened.
Faster than the boat.
And she kind of nods and she's like, you see, we were first rowing out to see if we had to kill you. And then we saw him, and she points over to one of the other rowboats where Harmon is just shouting at a dude about all the crazy shit that just happened. Like, you just see him freaking out, and this is just a random person. This is not a sailor. This is one of the random unreliables who was on the boat with you. But Harmon doesn't seem to notice that. And she goes, he's allowed to be here.
I see. Well, I appreciate you coming out and not killing us.
And she goes, well, we're not killing you for now.
What does that mean?
She doesn't respond. She just keeps rowing.
Okay. And Dolus will just walk back over to the group and just be like, well, we're closer to our destination, it seems.
You what?
Yeah, we're apparently 300 yards from where we were trying to go.
Enshasla.
You what?
No, not that one. And yeah, the one that he said. Dolus is not gonna attempt to try and say it. That's not even a K thing. That's a Dolus thing.
That's not you.
Correct, but it's on the way.
You guys get to the docks at this point, and other sailors start throwing down ropes and tying up the rowboats and helping people out of the boats. Enshasla, as you see, it's 4 big rock pillars that are jutting out of the ocean. And the water's surprisingly clear, so you can kind of see down that it seems like there's no other foundation. Like, those rocks just go down into the depths. And there's a bunch of wooden scaffolding and buildings built onto the sides and in between these rocks. And it seems like it's basically just one giant dock with a couple of buildings that happen to be attached in the middle. What would y'all like to do?
Well, have we docked?
You have docked. You are being helped out of the boat.
All right, well, I'm going to get out onto the dock, I guess, and wait for the others.
I am also gonna.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
get off.
Dog.
So you all gather, and as you're gathering, Harmon hobbles over and he goes, "That was right spectacular."
Flying.
Sorry, you're gonna have to go on to boat number 5.
It's all right. I kept a keepsake, and he pulls up a chunk of the boat's wheel that seemed to have come with him. Just a single rod and like a chunk of the wood. He goes, "I'll just have it put on the new one." A couple of folks here owe me a few favors. I'm sure I'll be able to get out of here with at least a skiff.
Right.
Lotus, dear. Lotus.
3 people talked at once.
Yeah, I
that
know.
was really.
I'm gonna talk to Harmon.
Yeah, you
first.
go.
Okay, go ahead.
By chance, did you happen to see the other one that was with us?
What other one?
Okay, it's what I thought.
Turns out Kieran's not fucking real.
Yeah, it's just in Twink's imagination at this point.
He sprouted angel wings and then disappeared.
Before Harmon turns around, he points right at Socks, and the way he points, he's basically almost touching you, like right here. He goes, "You turned into a dog."
Bad
Right.
puppy.
I've never seen anything like that on the deck of my ship. Off the deck of my ship, twice, but never on the deck of my ship.
Right.
And he pats you on the shoulder and goes, "I appreciate new things." And then he turns and he hobbles away from you all.
Socks is kind of standing there, almost in shock. And then he slowly turns to Lotus, noticing, hopefully, I think she's mostly dry. And, like, holds out shoes to her and goes, "You seem like you're probably a lot warmer than I am, and she's soaking wet and very cold. Do you
Bad
mind
doggy.
holding on to her?" Okay.
The cat does not want to climb you or nuzzle currently. It is just trying to ball up desperately in your hands.
He's a dog.
Socks kind of like adjusting his clothes now that they're, I assume, mostly repaired.
They're repaired. Yeah, you mended them all. They're still damp.
And turns to Dolus and goes, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
I made a statement to you that I potentially would not be a threat, and ironically, not much later, I became a threat. And for that, I am sorry.
Right. Well, as it seemed, you made a mistake in doing so, I would assume. So I will just have one word. I will keep my eyes on you to make sure that you don't do anything like that to anyone I care about. But don't make that mistake again.
Right. Now what happens next may scare you. And he reaches in his bag, pulls out a little flask, unscrews it, and drinks half of it.
Oh boy! What do you got to roll here? Let me pull that bag up.
I believe it
in my
is,
pin.
what, 2d4?
I think it's 2d4, yes, but I'm going to confirm before I say it out loud.
While this is happening, Lotus is gonna look over at Twink. He's like, "Did you know this?
Did I know about what last?
That
1d4 if you fail a Constitution throw.
So I roll Constitution first.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okie fucking doke.
Yes, I was quite aware of it.
That's
So
17.
Lotus is gonna look over at
That's
Dolores.
17. You succeed, so you'll take half of whatever you roll on that d4.
That's a 6. My bad.
Roll that again. Roll the spiky one that'll stab your foot if you drop it.
1.
1, you take 1 point of damage. As Socks takes a sip from this flask in front of you all, he kind of and as he like coughs, like steam comes out of his mouth.
It's a nice party trick, I suppose.
Not exactly a party trick, but something I've discovered helps the problem.
Right. And then Dolores will just give him like little 2 pats on the shoulder and turn around to Lotus. Yes?
Did you know he was a bad doggy?
I wasn't fully aware of what it meant, but I am now.
Was that what you were talking to them?
Yes, but in my defense, I didn't know what it meant. I was trying to get the information.
Okay. And then she's gonna turn around and start walking towards Enshasla.
Dolores follows after.
Okay, so the two of you start walking up, up the dock to where there's stairs that take you up to like the scaffolding and the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Socks, Twink.
Socrates, I'm gonna need your help.
With what?
And he points back at Archibald's unconscious body still on the boat.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to carry that up.
Is currently flopping Archibald onto the deck.
Yeah, I don't think I can carry that alone.
Right, and he's going to attempt to pick up Archibald and kind of fireman carry him.
Make a strength check.
Okay.
I hope you fail.
I hope I do too. That's actually a nat 20.
Hey! You find with surprising ease, maybe the adrenaline from being a werewolf recently is still in your system. You hurl him over your shoulders and you test a little. He's really light. He's an elf. You don't weigh a lot. He's also a young elf. He weighs even less. So you are now fireman carrying Archibald over your shoulders.
A little featherweight for a magic nuke.
Are you talking to me?
No. Archibald.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Twink is also a magic nuke.
Yes.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
Are you two going to follow Lotus and Dolus?
No.
No?
No, I'm not. They don't know where they're going.
There's, to be fair.
Are they following the rest of the group?
Yeah, pretty much everybody.
Okay, well, I'll follow the group.
There's a stair up and there's a stair down to more docks. You're one set of.
Oh yeah, okay, then yeah.
If you want to,
I'm like, those two don't know where they're going.
Yeah. So you start following the general flow of traffic, which is all moving towards the buildings. And as you guys are going up the stairs towards the buildings and crisscrossing with a couple of other like walkways and scaffolds, you Make a perception check with advantage, Twink.
Fuck. 17.
Okay, so you you notice on an alternate scaffolding about 30 feet that way, coming down from like a cluster of the buildings, Kieran with handcuffs behind his back, struggling with 2 guards, trying to explain that he was just sinking into the ocean, but then is now here.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Socrates real quick. I'm gonna go, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Put my hand up and say, don't look right, don't look right, don't look right.
Understood. He kind of like lifts fucking Archibald's legs a little bit to cover his face.
Does Dolus hear what Twink said?
Yes, you would hear.
I would like to look right.
Of course you would. You look right, and you see Kieran being escorted down these stairs in handcuffs.
You know the person you don't know.
There's the angel. So he didn't die. I like just tell Socrates like, oh, he didn't die. He's over there.
Oh, good for him.
Kieran, can you make a perception check?
To see if he sees us?
Yeah.
I should have made a stealth check. I should have hid. Fuck.
Natural 20.
God damn it! Oh! In your struggles, you hear fuck, and you look up and you just see Twig, just like, and then you immediately realize the whole party is there. Like you start immediately recognizing all the crew members and everything.
Dolus is like looking right at you.
Well, folks, I think that if you look down at the docks, there's the proof of my story. The rest of the boat is down there too.
They both
I
kind
really
of
mean I don't. Huh?
They both just kind of stop and listen to you while you're saying this.
Down, and I assume my hand down there. There's the rest of the boat.
They all look towards your group now, and they stare at you for a quick second. Kieran, roll persuasion.
Yes, I'm good at this.
I hope they ask if we know you.
25.
I do.
25. They all kind of
19
nod for a
plus 6.
second, and they point over at Dolus, because Dolus is the one looking at Kieran and go, "You, stay there." And then they start moving across some of the steps to bring Kieran over to you.
Lotus continues walking forwards.
Lotus, come back. They need us.
Okay. And she begrudgingly walks back over with Sock.
As they get to you, your group is now kind of separated because you seemingly all stopped except for Lotus. They go, "Does this one belong to you?"
Nope, never met him.
Yes.
Real quick. What's he being held for?
Well, he magically teleported himself right into the middle of the war room.
I don't know anyone who could do that.
They look at Kieran.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
the
I
dude that
can't
had
do that.
wings.
God damn it.
Oh yeah.
He was on the ship with it. Do you all not remember?
It just slipped my mind, I guess.
Don't listen to these two children. They are very confused and very wet. Hypothermia sets in quite quickly on Aarakocra because
shoes.
And I look at the guards. That one doesn't like me, but I'm sure you know children tend not to lie when people tell them to.
Also, he approached me strangely in the middle of a public spot and began to ask me questions. I believe he has been stalking me. So, if you are going to charge him for trespassing, you might as well charge him for stalking as well.
Island.
The guard just goes, "Stop!"
Twig just has his hands just to his face.
The guard turns to Dolus and goes, "He was on your boat
Yes.
with Harmon."
Yes.
And the two guards look at each other and like, "He was with Harmon. Should we arrest him if he was with Harmon? Should we ask Harmon?" And the other guard's like, "I don't want to fuck with Harmon. If they were on Harmon's boat, I don't want to fuck with Harmon." And the other guard goes, "Yeah, I don't want to fuck with Harmon either."
Can I hear them talking?
You could all hear this.
Oh,
like this.
I would like to
Harmon-
cut in.
Harmon is very cool.
I would like to cut in and yell to Harmon.
Do you make a perception
Oh,
check?
yes, because
to know
Harmon's going to
where
be like,
Harmon
I've
is.
never seen that guy.
Oh no!
I have to make a perception check to see
Make
if
a
I see
perception
Harmon.
check to see if you see Harmon. You're in a big, like, interweaving network of
Man, this is an
scaffolding
unfortunate time for me to roll 23.
Well, see, that's too
Jesus.
bad because you see you know where Harmon went. You watched him walk further down the docks. He's like a solid couple hundred feet that direction, like down through the scaffolding at the docks, talking to someone.
Tragic. Wait, I mean, I can yell.
You can yell.
Yelling is like 200 feet.
I'm like,
In fact, I think we can solve this very quickly. Harmon!
I'm gonna scare shoes.
Why are you yelling?
Well, there's only one way to really prove it, and that's the captain of the ship, is it not?
Why are you? We know this man.
I healed you.
Harmon amidst all the sound of Enshasla does not hear you or react.
Ah.
But the two guards do both look and see Harmon, and they're like, "Oh fuck, Harmon actually is here." Like,
In fact, he just lost his boat. So,
which boat?
4.
Oh, the Fogslip tonight.
You'll get a new one.
And the other one goes like, "Did you hear what happened in the last one?" Yeah, no, we all heard. And then he immediately unlocks Kieran and like shoves him in your direction. He goes,
Oh.
"You don't have to keep him. But just let Harmon know we didn't keep him either." And then they just turn back away. And one of them stops partway, and it was the one who punched you. He turns back and he goes, "I'm sorry I hit you."
Hit him back.
No hard feelings, I understand. I feel like a lot of people want to hit me today.
He gives a thumbs up, and then he turns back, and they just both go to the war room, glancing down through the scaffolding in like the direction they saw Harmon as they go back to the war room.
So he's gonna turn to Kieran. What the fuck happened to you?
I'm not quite sure. Or why do I have a British accent? I'm not quite sure. Was Archibald? Is Archibald with you?
It's
Literally on the big guy's
On
back.
my shoulders.
Yeah, you
Archibald
wrapped around me like
is
a fucking scarf.
4 feet away from you. His whole body is eye level.
I want to look around. Are there any guards nearby, like us, or
I mean,
people who weren't?
There are two that are leaving, but you get the sense that there isn't really like a guard structure here.
So there's nobody who wasn't on the boat that can see me.
No, there are lots of people.
Oh.
There's lots of people. These guys. You are not going to find a place of privacy here. This
No,
is
that's not what I'm looking for.
swarming with people.
What I'm wondering is if Healing Hands doesn't have any signature. There's nothing that would give away me using Healing Hands.
Unless you want there to be, no.
No, okay. So I ended up somewhere, then I ended up somewhere else. I think there's only one person who knows anything, and he's on your back. I'm gonna wake him up. And I wanna touch Archibald
You palm
and
him.
use Healing Hands.
Okay, so you use. Go ahead. You're
Yes.
using healing hands.
He restores 3 hit points and hopefully wakes up.
So you are healing Archibald. He immediately his face seems to have some more color to it, and he seems to be even more stable than he was. There is no other response.
Do you want me
Well,
to
there
poke
goes
him?
my answer.
No,
I can poke him.
no, don't do that. It won't help.
Well, I just hit him, and I don't think he's waking up from that either.
Perhaps
And-
he needs to rest.
I think I do too. And I
He
look
did
at
teleport
Socrates.
us 3 hours away and partially part way in the sky.
And as much as I appreciate it, I think I was partly involved in that, and it was tiring. And Socrates, as much
Yes.
as you don't want me to, I do think I know you.
I don't believe you
We've at
do.
least met. We've met.
Yes, unfortunately we have. Not a great set of interactions. Why would I claim you?
I know you have very large claws.
Socks just immediately shakes his head, kind of like taps Twink with his elbow to like get his attention and starts walking toward her. Like
You kind of do that, and he just kind of right in the head.
no, not like knock him, but just kind of like, you know, the little.
But still, I'm head height.
Yeah,
like that's gonna hit my head.
There's a little tap on the top of the head.
I would like to
be
rest.
honest, the healing was, and I whisper the word healing because I realized from session 1, the healing was supposed to be
For
Let's
you realize this
start
isn't
off-
part of the nation that's looking for the magical people, right?
I don't know that. I'm not sure where we are.
I'm pretty sure we're safe here.
Yeah.
Are we? Okay.
Well,
And-
Well,
and-
considering
I
they
guess,
rescued us.
Are you safe here? So is that a question I'm being actively asked?
Well, is this one of the places where we have to worry about magical beings?
No. This
Yeah,
is
don't think so.
one glance around. Now that everything is kind of calmed down, and we got Kieran. This place is full of not what you would call law-abiding citizens. You see lots of people who are definitely smugglers, a couple who you think might be pirates, and loads of unreliables.
Do I spot a person who has like, you know, like a sailor's pirate captain?
Or tricorn?
Yes, there are a few people who have tricorns out and about.
Dolus,
Yeah,
I want one of those.
the hats.
Yeah, a hat. I want a hat.
I'll get you a hat one day.
I'll get you a hat.
Socks decides to have a little fun as he's walking away and casts minor illusion to like make a hat around Lotus's head.
Aww.
She can't see the top of her head.
A tricorn hat appears on Lotus's head, just out of eyesight view, thanks to the overhang from the mat.
He has not broken pace. He did that like not looking.
Motion, yep.
Dolus sees that and reaches for the hat.
Your hand goes through the hat, but the hat does not vanish.
Shoes, I'm gonna have a hat one day. And then you can wear it too. It'll be very... I'll get you like a small hat, okay? Okay.
You all, as you're walking, come to the little like collection of buildings where there's a more solid like sort of almost like a town square setup, but it's all just wood leading on wood. You're like a solid 80 feet above ocean water underneath you, but it seems stable. Everyone's walking on it without a worry, and there are 4 or 5 buildings.
How did they manage to do this? Is this magic?
It's what magic?
What we're standing on?
A
The
dock?
ground?
It's wood.
It's floating.
Not exactly.
You can explain it to me later.
Oh,
All
speaking
right.
of explain. Socks,
Yes.
why do fish go to school?
Right. Well, you know how your parents, they would tell you to always go outside with a friend.
I didn't...
Have you ever heard of the buddy
Yeah.
system?
After
Right.
as he says this, Dolus like will get like right up onto like laying next to Socks, put his hand on his shoulder and like grip really tight, and then he just leans in. It's like, don't with this topic.
I didn't have friends. What is a buddy system?
Fish go together because they are small and they protect each other. Kind of like us.
But you're...
He
Yes,
means
but there
like
are things
us,
a lot
me and
bigger
you.
than us.
Oh. Okay.
Dolus is kind of gonna walk over, gathering what he means, and just like lean over to Lotus. Like, So you know how me and you were together when we were alone in the forest?
Mhm.
Fish do that as well.
But why is it called a school? Are
Turns
they
back over.
learning
Why is it
things?
called a school? Back to Socks. Why is it called a school?
Because they learn things from each other.
Oh.
Can I make an insight check on Socks?
Go right ahead, buddy.
Is it like Raiden? Like how Raiden taught us lots of things?
I think so.
Let's see. That's gonna be it's just a 14.
You don't have a huge knowledge of fish.
Oh no, okay. I just wanted to see if he was lying when he said that.
As far as you can tell, he seems to be. That is what he thinks the reason it's called.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if he was trying to bullshit that or not. Because he didn't actually know, so he just made it up. I was trying to figure that out.
I'm like, he seems confident that that's the reason they're called the School of Fish.
I know he made it up because he doesn't have an answer for it.
I'm like, it doesn't seem like bullshit, but it doesn't seem like a lie either, or truth. It's just like, oh yeah, I guess that's what he thinks they're called. Maybe that is what they're called. Maybe that is what. So what do you all want to do now that you are in the center of Enshasla?
Can I look around to see if there's any? So you said there's a lot of like buildings like built into like on the rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So all the buildings are sort of built into the rocks. The same with the structure. It all built out from the rocks.
Right. So are any of them like distinguishably like, I don't know how to describe it, like, or do they all kind of just look like the same kind of like structure, just like a little like house on the rock?
No. So if you want to see what they are, that's fine. So you are currently surrounded by what is clearly a tavern, very loud, very rambunctious. Everybody's very excited there. Then there is a stall that is entirely dedicated to fishing supplies and boats. Then there is another shop that is full to the brim that you can see right now through the window and at the front of weaponry. And then there is, I have it right here. Yeah, two others. You have one that you can't seem to really tell what it is. It just looks like a house built into the side of it. And then you have a shack that is just random shit.
Mm.
Just seems to be random crap piled up. Like, so none of them distinguishably look like an inn.
No.
Yeah,
none of them look like an inn.
Fuck.
Fun.
Dolus, how are we gonna get to Ubua now?
That is a good question. I'm sure we could get a boat. I think probably we could fly. And now it's like dawning on Dolus that he doesn't know how they're gonna get to Ubua now. And he's like, we'll figure something out. Like trying to keep like a straight face.
Worst case, we just take this one again and have him. Poof.
Right.
Hopefully on the ground this time.
As you are all talking and convening there, walking up to you is the first mate who Twink met briefly before the ship sank. And Walk, who both walk up to you. And so Walk immediately comes up and he goes, "So you lot that killed the snake."
Spoon collection man.
2 snakes.
And he looks at you and he goes,
I got one of them.
and then he looks at you and just kind of, he just kind of shakes his head at both of you. And he goes, "I get you didn't save the boat, but thank you for trying to save the boat."
Felt like the right thing to do. You were offering us refuge.
And Walk kind of shrugs and he's like, to be fair, we were probably going to force you to work on the boat the entire 3-month trip there. It was basically indentured servitude. We don't usually put that on the flyer, though. And he points right at Lotus. He goes, she could have fit in the little nooks and crannies for cleaning really easy. And then he shrugs.
Do you have your spoon collection?
He has it under. He pulls the case out from under his slung arm and like opens the case, and it's his spoons. And then he closes it really fast and puts it back. And he goes, this has been with me through 4 shipwrecks, 3 of which were caused by Harmon. One of which was caused by those snakes. And then the first mate goes, anyways, we wanted to thank you for, fighting a giant snake. And also him when he turned into a dog. And he, like, gestures at Sock.
Sock's kind of just... I don't believe we've met. I'm Socrates.
I don't care. You're a werewolf, and I never, ever want to be around you ever again. That was horrifying what I saw. Like, just no hesitation.
To be fair, I think it was your captain who got him. So, you're at least safer.
And I don't think I want to be around a whiny deck swabber.
Help.
What'd you say?
And I don't think I would quite want to deal with a whiny deck swabber.
Is saying that to me or him?
To him.
The first mate.
And
I asked that out loud.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
He just kind of sits there and stares at him and goes, okay, well, I was coming over here to give you all something, but you can go fuck yourself.
All right.
And then he walks over to Dolus and Lotus, and he kind of leads in, and he has a bag of something, and he hands it to Dolus, and then he like kneels down and pats Lotus on the head.
Thank you. It's okay. Don't worry. I don't know him. He points at Socks.
And he goes, I know you're going to share it in the end anyways. I just, I've never seen a person turn into a wolf before and try and maul someone in front of me.
I didn't even
Trust me, I'm not fond of it happening either.
He does not react.
And I've learned I aren't either.
He just gives you all a thumbs up and turns to walk away. He goes, I'm probably not going to be on Harmon's next boat because I've been on all the others, and I think I'm done.
And we lost him again!
So
Welcome back.
He leaves while Lotus waves at him. But Walk is still there, and he goes, you've had a bit of a rough day.
Haven't we all?
Fair enough.
Socks looks at Twinks and goes, did you say something to him earlier?
To which one?
The one that just walked away.
I can't remember.
Right.
What do you mean, did you say something earlier? I'm confused. Moving on. I'm like, moving on. Whatever. Walk just turns you on and he's like, well, every boat I've been on with Harmon has sunk. But Harmon always gets another boat and I never die, so... when Harmon gets another boat, if you want to get on it, knowing him, he'll have it by tomorrow.
Do you know if there's anywhere we could stay here for a moment of respite?
He grimaces and goes, you see, all these sailors show up for a day or a night, get drunk, sleep on their boat, and leave. So no.
Right.
Do we have anywhere we can put this one for a little bit? And he kind of shrugs up Archibald's unconscious body.
Just as he's saying that, there is a whistle signaling another ship coming in. And you will look out and you see a ship flying a gray flag coming down into the docks. And Walk gets kind of a look on his face, and he goes, there actually might be.
Socks kind of cocks his head.
And he's like, let me go talk to a few people. And then meet me down at the docks where they scooped us up.
Right.
Give me a couple hours.
Appreciate it.
And he goes, I can always respect somebody who can murder a sea serpent. And then he turns to Lotus and he goes, or who collects spoons. And then he turns and walks away. Like every step creaks the boards, makes like a
Socks is so fucking confused about the spoon thing.
Yeah, no one else got the spoons. So
Except for
you all
Dolus.
have some time to burn and a couple of places you can go and things you can do. What are you all feeling at the moment?
I'm just lugging around this lifeless elf.
You just got a knocked out elf on your shoulders, but no one seems to give a fuck.
Right, yeah. Hello.
What did you get? What did you get?
A bag that it seems I probably shouldn't open around a town of thieves.
One of the people walking by heard that and was just like,
Let's not be so quick to make judgments. After all, this was a planned stop anyway.
Can I look around with my background to see if I know if that's true? Like if I can gauge the people and know.
There are pirates.
This is going to run over to
Literal
the
pirates.
around.
Shit, anyways.
Where's Lotus gonna run?
She's gonna run off to the shack that has random shit.
Okay. You
Oh,
run
no.
on to
Follow after her.
the shack of random shit.
Well,
Wait,
as Dolus is running
shoot.
after her, he puts the bag, the little bag in his bag.
Shoes clambers her way into the little pocket on the vest that the Lotus has. And kind of sits because she's exhausted.
Tiny cat and tiny bird.
So Lotus, the moment you come running up to the door, it magically swings itself open, and inside there is this old, blue-skinned water ganassi woman who goes, "Hello!"
Hello!
She goes, "Welcome to Sally's Emporium. What can I do for you?"
Dolus
Sally sip
looks at-
what?
Emporium. It means I've got it all. What do you need? What do you need? Do you need a shelf? I've got many. I'm using most of them, but I can make exceptions. Do you need a bowl? Do you need a bucket? Do you need she picks something up. Whatever this is, and she throws it off into one of the random piles. And she goes, anything you've got that you want to give to me, I'll take. Anything I've got that you want, I need gold.
What?
I would like to cut in and say, Socks, concerned for the fact that these two are from another plane, will follow them to make sure that something terrible doesn't happen to them. But he's a few paces behind because he's carrying someone.
Can I look through your things?
And she goes, well, of course, if you looked through my things, you wouldn't know what to buy.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Is it just piles
It's
of
just
things?
piles of crap on shelves and things. There's a million things.
Is there
It's
a
packed to the
big
brim.
do we have to walk through stuff to get to places?
No, there's dedicated little pathways through it, but you get the feeling she just kind of yeets things wherever is convenient.
Oh,
to
it's a
find.
big lots.
It's a big lot.
I just want to go over to a pile and start looking through it.
Okay.
Can Dolus walk over to the counter? Is there a counter? Is she standing
There's
behind
a
a
very small, 3 feet wide podium that is functioning as a counter.
Right, and I'd like to just lean in and be like, you wouldn't happen to have any nice spoons, would you?
She goes. And she sits there for a second. She goes, give me a moment. And then she just turns around and starts digging through a chest of crap behind her. Lotus, do you want to make an investigation check? And you all have followed behind at this point?
15.
Twink, are you following as well?
No, Twink doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna go look for an inn.
Okay.
Karen's also going to look for an inn because he needs a short rest.
Kieran and Twink hanging out.
The dynamic duo. Classic.
The dynamic duo.
15.
And then Socks trying to babysit.
15. Okay, fantastic. This is actually great. So as you're digging through the pile, you pull out this really, really pretty blue robe with these like golden flaky adornments. And it seems almost like a long jacket than a robe. But it's a bit too big for you.
Meh.
You just toss.
Does she toss it on to Dolus though? Because like he's at the counter.
Further in.
It just falls. It just like falls on the floor between Dolus and Socks.
Socks walks over and picks it up. She's like, God damn it. Looks at it.
Do you want to roll perception on it real quick?
Fucking sure. That's a 19 plus 5, so 24.
The adornments are clearly from Shadestep.
Oh.
It is dark elf handiwork, and it's very, very nice. It's way lighter than something that big should be.
Right.
It feels almost like you're holding a handkerchief.
Socks will walk up to the counter, or kind of just lean out of the aisle and hold it up and go, "How much?"
She's like, Sally shoots up in the middle of like going through stuff, and she has a tankard in one hand and has a human skull in the other, and she goes, 2 bits. No.
How much?
4 bits.
What's a bit?
Gold.
For this?
Yeah.
I'll get back to you on that. And he like leans back into the aisle.
She starts digging through stuff again. Lotus, do you want to keep looking for stuff? Make another roll. Dolus, while she rolls, Sally pops up behind you, and she has...
Behind me?
Or in front of you.
Just out of nowhere.
I thought I assumed you would be looking around.
No, he was just waiting at the counter, just leaning on it.
He's just staring uncomfortably.
Yes.
She pops up, and she has a single spoon.
What is it? What does it look like?
It is a copper color, and it is a simple spoon, as far as you can tell.
Is this the nicest one you have?
And she goes, I don't know. I have lots of stuff. There could be any number of spoons. But I remembered seeing this one earlier, so I knew that there was a spoon in this box.
Right. How much for it?
Well, it is currently made of copper, and I don't know if you have copper, but I will not sell it for a copper. I want 1 silver. And she puts it down.
Right. Could you hold that while I go look for an... No. He looks at like the dirty pile like of stuff. He's like, actually, no, I'll take that one.
Okay.
And
Just
I
break
give
one of
her-
your gold into change. We will say she gave you the change, and she gave you the spoon.
Right.
Lotus, what did you roll on your next roll for stuff?
3. She rolled a 3.
You rolled a 3? Okay. As you're digging through everything, you pull out a statue made of a material that you recognize the smell of, but you don't know immediately what it is. And it is the carving of a bear.
I've realized it's a really unfortunate thing that Socks doesn't have detect magic.
Yeah, the only person who could detect magical trinkets didn't go into the trinket store.
I can do it too, and I also left.
But if it's light as hell, I'm like, there's something up with this shit.
Are you just... Is Lotus just shaking this little statue?
Socks kind
Do
of
you want
looks
to
at her
make
and
a
goes,
perception check to see if you recognize what it is?
Eight.
You don't recognize what it is.
Socks looks at her and goes, well, do you know what that is?
It's a bear.
Great.
Socks,
I've
you would
eaten
immediately
these
tell
before.
that the bear is made of soap. It is a 2 foot tall soap carving of a bear.
I've eaten these before.
But do you know what it's made of?
Bear?
No. Have you ever taken a bath or a shower even? It's soap.
Oh. Here.
The moment
smell
he
it.
says soap, you immediately recognize the smell as the smell of the soap that Raiden had for baths.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna make my way over to Dolus and be like, Dolus, look! It's a soapy bear. It's the. It's the.
Wow.
Smell it, smell it, smell it. Can you recognize it?
Yeah, it's soap.
It's the one that Raiden used.
Right.
Sally points at it. She's like, that is a soap carving made from a special soap. Comes from the Dragon Lost Archipelago. I've been there myself on vacation before. It's very nice. That soap is made from a very specific tree fat and syrup blended together into the beautiful aroma you smell today. And she sniffs it and goes, ah!
Right. Dolus kind of takes it out of Lotus's hands, and just gently puts it down back in the pile. Appreciate the insight. Lotus, come here. I have something to show you. And starts gesturing towards outside.
Yes.
Come with me. And he goes out.
You walk past Socks out the door.
Mhm.
I'm gonna follow him while sniffing my hands.
And he's just gonna, when they get out, just walk a couple feet out, and he kind of gets on one knee, leans in. He's like, so, were you upset with me that I didn't tell you about the wolf?
Yes.
Right, I'm sorry. And next time I'll be sure to keep you updated on interesting things like that.
If you don't, I'm gonna boop you.
Right, yes. I got you a gift. And he holds out the spoon.
You got me a spoon!
Yes, I did. I know how much you love them. You can add it to your collection.
I'm gonna take the spoon. I'm just gonna show Shoes the spoon. It's like, this is a good spoon. A very good spoon. And then she's gonna stick it into her bag.
We are gonna cut over to Kieran and Twink. Where did you guys want to go first to investigate for some kind of inn?
So you said that it was a strip sort of stores that we saw there.
It's like a semicircle connected to the rocks. It's the 3 stores, the one that's clearly all fish and boating, the one that's all weapons, the random Sally's Emporium of random shit. One that seems to be a house almost. It looks normal and no one's going in there. And then there is the tavern that is clearly just a bar.
I guess I'm going to the tavern.
A lot of
Okay.
taverns. So I guess we can try there.
The Twink's not listening. He started walking towards the tavern.
And I just jog to catch up. This little man is and it takes me about 3 steps. He's little
Yeah, it didn't take very much. It was like a skip and a half, and you were caught up with me.
Yeah.
You enter the tavern and it absolutely just incredibly busy. All of the various Unreliables and Harmon's whole crew are basically in there because there's nowhere else to go. And you just see barmaids running crisscross every which direction to fulfill orders.
Was there anyone other? I mean, is there anyone that we recognized that is in there that's wasn't just a random person on the ship?
Any discernible faces you'd recognize? No, you didn't get really to meet anybody. So the only discernible faces are people you've already seen. Walk isn't in there, but the first mate who said earlier that he didn't like Socks and hoped he never saw him again is sitting at the bar drinking. He's having a bad day.
I'll go talk to him.
Okay.
The same one Twink insulted earlier.
Yeah, but Twink doesn't know that.
And I'll go with him.
Fuck, what was his name again?
You haven't gotten his name.
Oh, that's right.
Good.
Oh, yes, second mate, was it?
He goes, first, and he just drinks.
Oh. I don't believe I got your name earlier.
That's because I don't think I gave you my name earlier. And he drinks again.
Oh, good. I felt like an asshole. I thought I didn't know your name.
And he stops and he goes, Egolds.
I'm sorry, it's what?
Egolds. Egolds.
No wonder you don't tell anybody your name.
Fuck you. And he takes another swig.
So what do you actually go by?
I think it's a lovely name.
And he goes, they call me Oldie. And he takes a drink.
Okay, but what do you want to be called?
I want to be called drunk and retired in a nice tropical paradise. And then he takes a swig again.
Only it is.
All right, Heggold. Do you know where we might be able to find room and board for the night?
And he goes, well, you can pay any of the ships here to let you sleep in them. They're probably going to rob you blind in your sleep. They might also tie you up and roll you into the ocean. And this is actually one of the deepest spots that we've ever found underneath these stones. So if they dump you, be sure they'll never find you.
That's the only options.
Well, your other option is to buy a boat of your own. And anybody here is willing to sell you one because boats come in and out constantly.
Oh, there's no fucking way I can afford a boat.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
What the fuck's that mean?
He kind of looks at you and he goes, if you could buy a boat, you'd have bought a boat out of the Empire instead of getting on our ship. Am I wrong?
Well, maybe I'm frugal. You don't fucking know me.
Eggles just goes, yeah, you got a point. He takes another swig and he goes, but Walk told me he was hoping to be able to help you guys. Didn't he set you up somewhere?
Is Walk the one with the spoons?
Walk is the one with the spoons, yes.
I haven't seen that one again since earlier.
I think Walk said we would wait a few hours and meet him somewhere. Do you know where he said to meet him? And I asked first mate.
Eggles just kind of chuckles and he's like, the one guy who is going to help you. And he told you to meet him somewhere. And you don't know where.
I'll be real honest. I didn't even know he said he was going to help us.
He was a very nice man, but also a very large one. And I think the message got lost in the space in between.
And Eggles is like, well, there were 5 of you. So maybe one of the other 3 remembers. But for now, best thing I could recommend is pick a corner of scaffolding far away from pirates and take a nap.
Well, Eggles, it was nice to meet you.
And he goes, you know, it was nice meeting you. I hope I know.
I'm going to inside check that motherfucker. I want to know what he actually thinks.
Yeah, roll.
No, that's a good roll. That's a 25. Nope, I'm sorry, 23. 23.
He is so sloshed at this point. He firmly is like, yeah, you know, no, good to meet you. Having a great time now.
Well, good luck on the retirement.
You can tell he's just like dead inside.
Nice. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna go walk out and go to the store then, since that's where the group went.
I have some thought
You
for it.
walk out. And as you walk out, you see Dolus and Lotus outside. Dolus talking to her like face to face on one knee.
Right. What's going on here?
Not a big area. Like from the tavern to the store is like.
Oh yeah, it sounded like you said it was really close.
Yeah, it's like 40 feet.
Yeah. Like what's going on here?
Nothing.
You got a spoon. You're like the other one, the big one. He
Yeah.
collects spoons too.
Do you want to see my spoon collection?
Is it?
Sure.
Are they magic? Are they magical?
Maybe don't bring it out now.
I don't think
not
anybody's
magical.
stealing any spoons.
They're not magical. They're just spoons. She just likes them.
Maybe one day they'll
They
be
shine.
magical.
Oh. Like a
And he gives-
spoon
and he
that has
gives-
4 spoons?
And then he gives Lotus a wink and he walks into the store.
Wait, tell me more. I want to know more about magical spoons. And she falls off.
You walk into the store. The moment you walk into the store, there's
Yeah,
socks
I
with
walk in the store.
Archibald on his shoulders. Like right behind him.
And the robe
I
in
just kind of
his
laugh.
hand.
I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I thought he'd woken up by now. Okay.
Sally, as soon as you walk in, goes, "Hello!"
Hi. Hello.
So Twink's got a pretty high passive investigation.
He does.
Does he just happen to pick something out without having to roll?
Yes. Roll a dice for what I give you.
Nice.
I'm like, roll a dice for what random piece of junk you pick up.
The 13.
13. All right. Fantastic. Okay. You walk up to one of the piles. You look it all over, and you immediately see a tube, like a map tube or a scroll tube, like the kind of tube you'd find a poster in. And it's this really ornate, like leather wrapped around it with like an inscribing, and it's sort of jammed in there, so you only see like half of it. You pull that out.
Cool. I mean, I want to inspect it a little more than.
Okay, the writing.
Pop it open.
So the writing on the
touching his
outside.
ears and being like, "Tell me more about the magic spoons."
Just kind of keeps shaking his head every time you touch the ears, just to kind of get your R's up.
Dola like kind of like grabs her arm, like, "What did I tell you about touching people's ears?
Magic spoon.
He's not gonna tell you about the spoons if you keep touching his ears."
Is this true?
The writing on the side is in a language that you can't read.
Nice.
It's a really like pretty embossing, and as you pop it open, there is a wound up piece of parchment inside of it. And as you unroll it, it is in 3 separate languages, common, and then 2 others that you don't recognize, with a really nice stamp on the bottom.
Can Socks lean over and see if he can, like, just out of curiosity, and see if he can read any of it? Socks knows a lot of languages.
Let me look at your languages here real quick.
Celestial, Draconic, Elvish, and Infernal.
You don't recognize any of the languages on that tube or on that paper.
As soon as we walk into the store and I see just like how filled with random nonsense it is, I want to start ritual casting detect magic. I assume at some point during all of this, like 10 minutes will have passed, so you can just let me know when that.
Okay. So Twink, the common part of the parchment reads it out as the deed to land in Yubawa. It is an unspecified amount of land. It simply refers to it as Raven's Loft.
Okay.
We're gonna own
and
a
it says
tavern.
everything there belongs to the holder of this deed, as prescribed by the first revolutionary government of Yubawa.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
I would like. Okay, I'm just gonna ask Sally how much it is. I was gonna try to pull a fast one, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. So, how much for the tube and the paper?
And she goes, I actually haven't read it. I didn't know it opened. What's on the paper?
I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion on it now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make it look like it's just a bunch of gibberish that you can't read. And I'm just gonna hold it. I say, I don't know.
And she goes, that is very, very odd. Why do you want it?
I'll be honest, I like the tube. It's got nice and scrollments on it.
And she sits there and she goes, the tube? 3 gold. The paper? You can take it.
Now 3 gold a days, you got it.
Okay, you buy the tube with the paper.
Socks kind of leans down to Twink and like holds up. Well, actually, he knows it's from Shadestep. Would he know if it has any sort of properties to it just by default?
What's from Shadestep?
The robe he's
cloak he was holding.
Oh, the robe.
You recognize the crafts work, but you never you went there specifically to learn like magics. You didn't really interact with like their workers. You worked specifically with like scholars, so it's not something you'd recognize.
So yeah, Socks comes down to Twink and goes, so this is from Shadestep, a place where I studied for a amount of time. And I was wondering, you seem fairly knowledgeable about magic items. Is it magic? And he's trying to like hush to make sure she doesn't hear.
Right. I'm gonna look at it and I'm just gonna stare at him. It looks like a robe to me. Are you asking me to find out?
It would be much appreciated.
Would I know anything just about Shadestep and the infusion of magical items there? Or is this something that they would commonly do?
It was something you would have been taught, that they do regularly infuse their clothes with some kind of magic, but you do not. You cannot.
Yeah, obviously I can't tell right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the 10 minutes and I'm a ritual cast. So I'm a ritual cast Identify.
Has my detect magic procced?
Your detect magic will proc right around the time Twink is halfway through identifying the cloak.
Yep.
And you are immediately flooded with multiple sensations of various levels of magic all around you.
And I'm just rapidly. Jeez.
It's actually kind of hard for you to focus on any of them, though, because you are entirely overwhelmed by the massive magical aura coming from Socks.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh god, it's because I'm surging, isn't it?
And I like stoop down to them. There's a lot of magic in the shop.
Well, it's filled with about an island's worth of bullshit, so I would assume so.
I'm sure that's
No, and I think you're the biggest problem. You have a lot of magic too. I'm trying to be nice. If you give me the cloak and I don't look at you, I might be able to see if it's magic, but I really need to not see you. In fact, actually, can you wait outside for a minute? You're very bright.
Socks hands it to Twink.
I'm already halfway through Identify. It's 5 minutes later. I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
It's not in Socks' hands.
Currently Twink has it and he's already ritual casting.
I wouldn't know that. So I just have detect magic up and I'm trying to see if it's magical, what school of magic. Mr. DM.
Socks just... Yeah, what school of magic am I going right now?
Let me look up what schools of magic are.
So the magical aura that is so prevalent around Socks right now is conjuration, actually. Conjuration and transmutation. You can detect both. But they're kind of fading in and out of each other.
Him or the cloak?
It's too strong. You can't specify anything in that area of him.
Oh, I thought he dropped it on Twink and then stepped it aside.
Did you step out?
I have not stepped out, no.
Yeah.
Oh. It's either conjuration or transmutation. What? Oh, wait, I know why you're so magical, don't I? Yeah, I think I found out. It's definitely magical. And I whisper all this because I don't want her to know. It's definitely magic. And then I just walk off and try and look for something else cool.
Lotus wants to take the bear soap and she wants to start rubbing it against Archibald's cheek.
You're gonna smelling salts, Archibald.
Lotus, what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
No, what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
I'm
as
worried
you are,
about it.
As you are rubbing the soap, Archibald actually immediately jolts awake. His eyes pitch black with little flecks of like stars in them for a second before he blinks and go back to normal. And he wriggles immediately on top of your shoulders in confusion and panic.
Socks kind of like half stumbles out of the door. Because he's just like, he's about to freak. I don't want to knock over shelves.
The magic has exited the store. You can now clearly locate magical objects, Kieran.
Cool. Roll
It's
perception.
a magic soapy bear.
Oh, right. It might also be Archibald.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So roll for an item real quick.
It's just straight roll then. 13.
Yeah, you're gonna find something magic. I'm like, you know where it all is. You reach into a pile for one of the most like stable magic like auras that you can find, and you just pull out a metal torch.
Huh. I look over. Hey, miss. What
as
is
soon
this
as
and how
you
much-
lift it, as soon as you like lift it straight up, it lights on fire.
Jesus.
Like the torch part lights.
I'm gonna like keep it away from anything, like or just like kind of.
Yeah, you're good. It's not letting. As you put your hand over like near it, there's no heat coming off of it. Just light.
It's light. I can do that. I can do that. I just put it back down.
Okay. Outside, Archibald nimbly manages to wriggle off your shoulders and kind of fall on his butt on the scaffolding and everything. And he looks around and goes, Did we make it?
Yes, but how?
Well, you see, that's complicated. And that's where we're going to end our session for today.
Damn it! I wanted to.
Wait a
buy the
minute.
bear
I want to
soap
know what
before
the fuck the robe does.
Yeah, wait, I want to find my goddamn robe!
It's probably already finished.
You can't end it mid him casting.
I can, though. We can come back.
You really
I
can,
think
though.
I think we can come back to what the robe is.
You're
I
a
wanted
dick.
to buy the bear soap before we
You're
end
a
it.
dick. You're a
Well, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you want to find out if Socks' robe is fucking useless, come back next week or maybe tomorrow, I don't know, because I know this is a shorter one. We'll fucking figure it out. And thank you so much for joining us. Everybody's places are down below.
It was great to
Love you guys. Bye!